Hey Stampers, Diane Dimich here with ddStamps.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make this really cute, adorable card. It actually is the size of a regular greeting card, but when they open it up, it's a three-dimensional box of flowers. And because spring is having a hard time getting here, we got another 4 to 6 inches of snow this morning very quickly, but the sun is shining right now. I've done a lot of projects lately using flowers and spring colors, but this is really cute and it's actually very simple to do, so let's get started. Okay, to begin with, you're going to go ahead and use your Simply Scored tool, and this is a piece of crisp cantaloupe cardstock, actually cut 5.5 by 8.5, which is just your regular size card base, and I'm going to score it at 2, and then I'm going to flip it and I'm going to score it at 2, 4, 6, and 8. And then I can move this out of the way and come back in with your piece of cardstock here. And what you're going to do is on those score lines that come up here, up to the 2-inch line, you're going to go ahead and cut them right up to that score line. And then this little piece here, I'm actually going to cut out, and I like to cut out a little angle just because it makes it folds up better, and for boxes or whatnot, it just works better for me. So now I'm just scoring or folding on all those score lines, and then I'm going to take some sticky strip, and I'm using sticky strip because I really want this to hold. I have done them with the snail adhesive and it seems to work just fine, but I've got sticky strip, so why not use it? And just remember, when you're using sticky strip, go ahead and burnish it really well, and then that little piece of red will come right off, and then you're just going to fold your card straight over, matches up those lines, and that's how you get the box, the beginning of the card. So you can see this way it's just folded, and it is just a regular card size. And I'm going to pull these down. I'll leave that back one standing up, just so that when it pops open, then the box looks like that. So then what I did is I took some designer series paper, and I actually will have these measurements up on my blog after I'm done making this video. But I took some DSP, and this is some of the Celebration DSP. And these little squares are 1 3/4 by 1 3/4, and I needed 4 of them. And then I took some other paper from that same paper pack, and these are actually 1 3/4 by 3 1/4, and I need 4 of them. And then using some snail, I'm going to go ahead and place these on the outside of my box to decorate it. And then when you go ahead and put these on, the one thing I like to do is make sure, because I used a striped piece of paper, when these open up I want all my stripes to be facing the same way. So that's the only thing I'm going to be careful on as far as placing these squares on, is just making sure that all my lines are going the same way as the box opens up. So there's the outside of my box. Now I'm going to show you how I did the inside of the card with all the dimensionals. So we stamped a bunch of little flowers, and I'm going to show you here what I used. I just used some scraps of cardstock that I had, and I used this stamp set called Petite Petals. This is a great stamp set. It's got 6 little images of flowers. I'm just actually using 2 of them, but it also comes with a punch that coordinates, so it's easy to punch those flowers out. And so what I did is I just took my ink and my stamps, and I'm using the crisp cantaloupe. And just went ahead and stamped 6 flowers. And I did 6 because there's actually 3 flowers in the box, but I double-sided them so that when you look from the back you don't see the mess that I got going on there. So then these just line up and they punch your flowers out. I'm just going to show you quickly then how I put them together. So then I took a piece of a dimensional, or not a piece, a dimensional, and I stuck it on the back of the flower, pulled off the back, and then I have this floral wire, and I actually just use really flimsy, cheap floral wire, and I'm going to stick that on there. These are going to end up being my stems, and I can see I made them a little long, but that's how you put your flower together, and you want to do several of them. For this particular box, I did 3 of the crisp cantaloupe and 3 in pool party. So now that I've got all 6 of my flowers done and ready to go, I'm going to do some little pieces of grass. And I'm going to actually do those in just a scrap of garden green. And this time I'm going to take, these are actually going to be like the leaves of the flowers. I'm going to take my wide oval punch, and you're just going to line it up. And it does not have to be perfect. That first one is just, you're not going to use it anyway, but you can just see you start making these long leaves. And I'm just doing, I don't know, maybe 8, 9, just enough. And so now those are ready to go. I'll just pile those over there because I'll need those for something I'm going to do. So I ran that embosslet, but beautiful wings, right through my Big Shot with this scrap of paper, and then you can see I end up with a bunch of embossed butterflies. And I probably won't use them all, but I'll use a couple of them. Now that I've got those pieces ready to go, I have to get out my, these are my little braces, and these are 3x1s, and again, like I said, I'll put these up on my blog, the measurements for all of these little pieces you need. But on these 2 pieces, what you're going to do is you're going to score them at a 1/2 inch on each side. So it's a 1x3 piece of paper scored at 1/2 inch on 2 sides. And these are going to be the things that actually hold all your pieces for your pop-up card. So go ahead and fold them on the score lines. And then I'm going to go ahead and use my piece of scratch paper I have here because it actually does give me a measurement. I know that if I lay this down here, I'm using up 1 inch, and I don't want my flowers to come over the top of this, so I can't have it to be any higher than 3 inches. So I just need to make sure that I don't go any higher than 3 inches when I'm putting this on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another piece of sticky strip, and this is going to be the front brace. That's why I have the little flaps facing up, because that's how they're going to go into the box. I have found that it's much easier to do this by putting these together and then putting them into the box. So once you have your sticky strip on there, I'm going to pull that off, and then you're just going to start to remember layering your stuff into that sticky strip, but not having it go past the 3-inch line. And this is really just random. You can just put them on there. Like that. And then I'm going to come in with these pieces, which you'll see are going to be the leaves of my flowers. And they really are just on there in kind of a jumble. They don't have to be perfect. Just like that. And one more. And then what I'm going to do with the end of all this, once I've got those on there, and this does look like it to be a mess, but that's going to be all covered up, so it's not going to matter anyway. I'm going to take an older pair of scissors, and I'm just going to trim off my extra wire. I got a little carried away with the lengths of my wire, so I'm just going to trim that off. And then I'm going to take a little piece of pear pizzazz, and I'm going to use my fringe scissors on them. These are the fringe scissors. Like, I love them. This is going to make our grass. And so what you're going to do with the fringe scissors is I like to open them up wide and cut them to go down, but not go all the way through. So you're just going to cut it so you have grass. And then I'm going to go ahead and put another piece of sticky strip over the top of this whole thing. Like that. And that's going to hold all those little pieces in there. All the stems and the pieces of grass and whatnot. Oh, I forgot to do one thing. I better get that done. The other thing I did is my little butterflies that I cut out, I'm going to go ahead and add them in there with a little piece. I don't know if you can see this, probably not, but it's just a little piece of a window sheet. Just a small little thing that I cut off. And I'm just going to place my butterfly in here. And that window sheet is going to allow it so that the butterfly looks like it's just flying out there all by itself. And I'm going to add this with a little glue dot. Put a little glue dot on the back of that. And then add my butterfly on. I'm going to trim that down a little bit because I think I might be getting over that 3-inch mark. I'll just trim that off. So there's that set up. Now I've got that piece of sticky strip, and then I'm going to take this, and this is going to get added on there just to cover up all my little mess that I had going on there. And then this is the piece I'm going to put sticky strip on the edges here, and that's going to get dropped down into my box. And there, you can see how this begins to take shape. Now the next one that you do the exact same thing, only this time you add all of the sticky strip and all of the things onto this side, including the piece of grass, and then you're going to drop this one down so that it sits right in the box like that. And then when you're done, you can see where, though they're braced in there to hold the box together, I did add a little bow to the front with matching summer fruit, the same as the butterflies, and then I couldn't resist. I had to add a few little pearls into the flowers. But very quick and easy card. And then on the front of it, I kept it kind of plain because it's so spectacular when you open it. But I just used some of the Chalk Talk stamp set with the framelit and then a punch in the crisp cantaloupe. So there you have it. There's project number 1 for Club. Thank you and have a great day.